happiness, don't want suffering. Is that the self? Now, how we know, which means when you look, first when we born from mother womb, first we come in this planet, the little baby, we already have that natural sort of desire or natural heart, just wants to be happy and peace, healthy, and don't want suffering. That desire, it's not influenced by our parents, it's not influenced by some environment. Just being a human, right? Just being a human, we have that desire. It's just wants to be happy in peace and don't want suffering. Even we can see little babies, because I always, using this kind of example is really helps oneself. When that little baby don't know anything, don't know how to talk, don't know how to eat, don't know how to work, it's nothing. They don't know anything, like a little baby. But when she suffering, she's crying. So her body language, we can see she don't want suffering. She don't like that suffering. Nobody teach her, you should, when you suffer, you should cry. Nobody teach. It's just naturally, just nature. When she suffer, she's cry. So that telling us, she don't like that. She don't want suffering. She don't like these kind of sufferings. Then when she happy, she's smiling. So nobody teach us you should smile, smile when you're happy, right? It's just nature. When she's happy, she smile. So that telling us only the desire that when they first come in this planet, they're only looking, wants to be happy in peace and don't want suffering. Because of that reason, even the baby movement, her body moving this way, that way, all those movement is about that. Wants to be live happy, don't want suffering, so they're moving here and there, seeking how to make happy, how to overcome suffering. That's why I move this way, that way, this, crying, screaming, every voice, every body language, she's telling us she wants to be happy, peace, and don't want sufferings. So that we can see, that little baby without any influence, they have some kind of that kind of heart. It's just naturally, and they have just nature, just wants to be happy and peace, don't want suffering. So first, this is very important. We have to know that the seed, right, the human seed, come from there. And that seed slowly is growing, and then slowly the lifestyle change. The physical bodies change, the mental levels change. All this lifestyle change, the emotional, everything's will be changing. It's growing. The education, the brain's growing, everything's growing, but the nature of their heart still remains same. When the baby grow, when they become teenager, still deep of that teenager, he or she wants to be happy in peace and don't want sufferings. So every movement is going here, there, is seeking something happy and peace. That's why they're running. That's why they're doing. So they don't want suffering. That's why they're moving. So nature of their heart, the desire, still didn't change. The physical change, their thinkings are changed, their educations change, their lifestyles completely change. But deep of their heart, the main engine inside the heart didn't change, still remains same. Then the teenagers slowly growing, go to college and graduate the college life, still same. Maybe hanging more here and there, maybe drinking and drinking fun here, there, but the deep of their heart still wants to be happy and peace and don't want suffering. Never change that. Then after they're married, children and adults go to the work, same, their heart still remains same. Then today, same, everybody in here, deep of our heart, we all want to be happy and peace, don't want suffering. Never change that. Future, when you become very, very old, that hearts remain completely same. So that's what's very important. This, we should understanding our nature. Who am I? So the people sometimes misunderstanding the I am. The I means something like special, to have to be star, to have to be very rich, to have to be very popular person. That's the second level. Just that's we imputed. That's our attachment created, makes second level, second stage. But our fundamental level is this clear, it's just wants to be peace and happiness and don't want suffering. That's we are. And that being is that kind of desire is never change. Wherever you go, wherever you stay, what kind of environment change, whatever they change, that desire remain completely same. Never change that. So this is very, important. We should really understand your identity. This is my identity. Who am I? Means I am the person who seeking peace and happiness, who wants to live with peaceful, happy life and don't want suffering. That's me. That's my identity. So these kind of first to believe that, not just by blind, rather really use those logic, our experiencing, use example, all this, through this logic, you should really understanding, yes, that's the me. I means really the person who wants to be peace and happiness, don't want suffering. That's me, that's I. So really, to believe that, it takes a long time to really believe these things. It's not just blind belief. This is the truth. This is the reality. That's the human being. That's the me. So wants to be peace and happiness, don't want suffering. So because of that desire, that nature, then purpose of our life. Then second, now what is the purpose of our life? The purpose of our life is to live peaceful and happy, oneself and others. That's our purpose. So because of that reason, meaningful life means the person who lives that way, who able to live oneself very peaceful, happy, with make peace and happiness through, make peace and happiness toward your family and others. If you're able to live like that way, then your life is really become meaningful lives. It's like that. So, because of that desire, then you look, in order to make happiness, live peace and happiness, in order to overcome sufferings, fear, worry, all those sufferings, people seeking, how can I do that? That's why when we are very young generation, everybody focus on education. So to live peace and happiness, there's a two things. Human being means we have two qualities there. One is there inside there called mental, invisible things, mental, mind. One is here is physical body. That's the two things we have. It comes from mothers, from our parents. When we come here, we have nothing, bring any external material. Only two things we bring here, body and the mind, these two. So these two always comes with us. When the body and mind, eventually when they separate, then it's called death. Finished, right? As long as when the body and mind together, my mind and my body relative together, working together, as long as when they are together, it's called life. I'm life. As long as when they separate, and that we call death. So life and death is very simple, right? When the body and mind's together, life. When they separated, death. So mainly, when I say I'm the person, when we talk about me, which means first when we come here, only two things, body and mind, they're two things. So living meaningful, to live meaningful, happy lives, how? I have two things, either from body or mind. So we're working with our body to make happy, through our mind we make happy. So from the body side, not that much powerful. Makes physical happiness, it's not stable, it's not guaranteed. It can come, it can change easily here and there. So physical things, it's very temporarily, there's no guarantee. So now mainly make happiness. Happiness where we have to make happy. It's physical body, it's not that. Still you can able to make happy, but the mainly happiness, which means the mind, it's mental. As long as our mind is experiencing on peace, happiness, enjoy, then say, I am happy now. As long as our mind is experiencing on stress, depressions, or fear, or angry, or hatreds, all those negative things when you're experiencing, that means I am suffering. Right? That's clear. Happiness and suffering, it's mental experiencing. Where you experience, either you experience happiness here, you're experiencing suffering there. So that's the two things. So major happiness, suffering is really going into human mind to make that. As long as if your mind is fully joy, full of happy, even sometimes external things when there's something going wrong here, there, it's not that much pain there. You can overwhelm by your mind. As long as when your mind is really struggle, pain, suffering, physical, how much luxurious life you're living, you're still never satisfied. You're still never experiencing happiness. That's very clear. So now that means in order to live happiness, peace, which means we have to really focus mind. How can make really happy? How can make peace, mental? So because all our movement, like a young generation I mentioned earlier, go to the school. Why we go to the school? It's like become sort of like a rule, in this planet. Everybody, when they're young, you have to go to the school, education. But really many people, we have difficult to maybe something misunderstanding, or maybe we don't have connection, the studying and the purpose. So if your purpose of the study is just to get a good mark, or to graduate, or something, just certificate, then very small purpose, right? Just only getting good mark was the purpose. If you're going to ask that, why you want good mark, then say, oh, maybe good job. So if you ask again, why you want good job? Money, right? Then you ask again, why you need money? So if you go, the last answer, it comes happiness and peace. And everything going on that way. Why you want money, why you need money, why you want to be star or something famous. Every this kind of human desire we have. Why you want, if you go ask us, final answer, it comes, I want to be happy and peace. That's why money, that's why good job, or that's why this, that. That's human looking. So then you go a little bit furthermore. Why you want to happy? Why you want peace? Why you want happiness? Why you don't want suffering? When you ask, you don't have any answer. I don't have answer. Maybe you have something, I'm not sure, right? But really when you ask you, why you want it? Maybe I like it. I want it the same. There's nothing furthermore explanation why you want it. So there's nothing, any other reason, why you want this. Because of that reason, we don't have other reasons. So no reason. What that means this is human nature. That's our nature. We're born with that kind of nature. Being a human, born with desire, wants to be peace and happiness without any reason. This is the nature. So human nature is the really positive, if you really think carefully, because our anger, hatred, jealousies, those negative thoughts, emotions making human nature is bad, this or that. But if you go deep down, human nature is very pure nature, very positive. Pure nature, which means just wants to be peace and happiness. When you look from mother womb, when they first come there, the innocent baby, when they comes, she just wants to be peace and happiness and don't want suffering. That's all. It's not looking about money. It's not looking about any other material. Just wants to be peace and happiness. That's the human nature. So because of our nature, there's no any other reason why you want this, why you want. There's no any other reason. That's us. That's the human nature. So similarly, why fire make us heat? Why this heat is fire? Why the ice makes cold? There's no any, because of fire, it's going to be burn it, right? There's no any other answer. The nature of fire is create heat it or burn it. That's the fire. That's the nature of fire. There's no any other proof. You don't need that. That's the nature. Nature of ice is cold. Therefore, why the ice make cold? Why ice cold? It's no an answer. It's because of I. That means it's cold. Nature. So similarly, because of human being, we wants to be happy and peace and don't want suffering. So these kind of things is not just education system. We use that and really our heart really think that, understanding that our own nature, who am I? Means I am the person who really wants to peace and happiness and don't want suffering. So because of that reason, then we are running, go to the study, learn, educate, work, every movement, our lifestyle, artists, business life, politic life, all those spiritual life, all this variety life, we choose same purpose, it's peace and happiness and don't want suffering. That's why we think arts maybe that makes me happy, or spiritual life maybe makes me happy more, or business life maybe makes happy. So all this movement to even like a small thing where you share your life with somebody else, you marry with somebody else. When you share your life with somebody else, simple reason is wants to be peace and happiness. That's why I share my life with him or her. So always, you should think, because sometimes you don't have any purpose. Then you're doing, sometimes this kind of work make what you call scary life. If you don't know your purpose, then you're just doing. Doing for what? You don't know. So you, without knowing these things, then sometimes you're doing, then even sometimes what you're doing, your purpose is something that, but you're doing is damaging your own purpose. Still you don't know, you're doing. That's why the many human beings, we can see in this planet, nobody wants suffering, right? Nobody wants trouble. The major human problem here today we have, created by human beings. We created all those problems. Small family problem, their family created. And nobody wants suffering in their family. Husband don't want suffering. Wife don't want suffering. But the husband and wife, their family problems comes from themselves. It's not something out there. They're fighting, two couple fighting. They're making their own trouble, right? And nobody wants to do that. So that, because of lack of understanding the purpose of two couple when they're staying together, it's harmony, it's happy, peaceful. They lost, they forget that purpose. Then just temporarily something, disagree each other, then shouting, creating. Result, he is suffering, she is suffering, you are suffering, both of them are suffering and cry and pain, living like that. Then tomorrow, again mistake, fighting more. Next time, again problems. So all these things, one problem is we don't understanding our purpose of life. So they are here first, really, why peace and happiness is my purpose. Purpose of life is the peace and happiness. It's because my identity is the who am I, means that I am the person who wants to be peace and happiness, who don't want suffering. That's why I go to school. That's why I go to work. That's why I share my life with him or her. Every movement, my lifestyle I'm doing here is because of that. Because you should really make a relationship between your purpose, that, and what you're doing today. So that, then always whatever you're doing, you're always looking that. I'm doing this because of that. That really, then what you're doing, it helps for your purpose. Otherwise, your mainly purpose is completely disappear, forget, then you're doing because of money, because of power, because of name, then lots of politics, right? Then too much drama, then too much explosion problem here and there. You don't care even you're happy or not, as long as if I have money. That's, for that kind of mind, if people live with that kind of mind, never ever live with peace and happiness. Money is just a number. It's psychological. You're thinking, I have money, I have power. But the present moment of your life is miserable. Even drinking coffee with your own partner or family with no peace, no happiness. Maybe they don't talk to each other, or maybe they, I don't know, whatever they have troubles. Many people do have that. So without that, then what's the purpose? Then why you want money? Why you want power? You have to go a little bit deeper that. You didn't reach that level. So you only know I need money, then you don't know behind there why you want it. So that's why you lost your real purpose. So you're deep of your heart and what you're doing, there's a huge big gap. You're deep of your heart, your inner being, what they wanted, you don't know. Then you're doing all these things. Result, your heart never satisfied, always hungry, always fear, always there's something missing. So the people walking, looking, why I need to go to the gyms, or to make more nice bedrooms, or to put something beautiful things in. Try to do so many material, spending money and doing try. Your heart still never satisfied. Still they're missing, they're looking something missing. So you feel that you are not really satisfied. You're feeling that. So sometimes people you see, when they become really, really rich, then sometimes they're doing very crazy things because they don't know their heart what they wanted. They try to serve to their heart, but they don't know the heart, really deep of their heart, what they wanted. They do know happiness, maybe just drink or drunk or what, right? Then they're doing all those sometimes other funny things, then eventually it's creating more trouble, more sufferings. So first it is really important to know about our own identity. So then through that, then everything I'm doing here, morning go to the work and coming back home, driving, all those my movement, this busy life, is the purpose is simple. It's about the peace and happiness, that purpose. Therefore I'm doing. Living with peace and happiness with oneself and their family and society, communities. Because of that, I go to the work. Because of that, I'm doing this. Because of that, I'm driving this. Every your movement, if you make relative between your purpose, then even sometimes you lose money, even sometimes you lose something, not that much big deal. It's not that much creates you fear, angry, and hatreds. If your purpose is only money, then sometimes when you lose the money, it feels like big problems. Fear, angry, hatreds. Your suffering, losing money, suffering of losing money, it's not that much big deal, but suffering of inner fear, internal out of angry and hatred, really painful. It creates by inner too much suffering, then external suffering is not that much big deal. But the internal suffering is huge big, because that means that ignorance, don't understanding. Your thinking is only the money. So that's one, a big obstacle to live with meaningful life. In order to live meaningful life, those attachments create obstacles, difficult. They pull our life into different. So then, money one thing, out of attachments, losing power, then that's also many people. Stress, fear, worry too much. Losing power is just, eventually we have to lose the power, right? Nobody can remain on that power. Eventually, sooner or later, we're going to lose power. Sooner or later, we will going to separate it with other people. We have to go alone. Death is certain. That's one day everybody have to die, and the time of death is uncertain. This doesn't matter, young or old. There's no about the young and old. It's not about healthy and unhealthy life. There are many young, healthy people dying. There are so many conditions for death. So that reality, everything surrounded with me, one day it's going to be separated, everything. So when we have too much attached, then fear of losing this, fear of losing power, losing money, that makes you angry, makes hatred. Then it makes really difficult life. Then too much inner stress, inner depression, inner worry too much, inner too much pain, he can't handle it. So that's why drunk. Again drinking, then damaging more and more and more. So these all because of lack of understanding the purpose of life, lack of understanding who am I. So that's why through that first, as long as when you understanding, your life always go with the middle way, not too much extreme here and there. You go the middle way. Everything you're doing, you always try to make your purpose. As long as my families are happy, my families are peace, enjoy, even I lose this or that, I don't care that much. This is because of that purpose. So therefore, if I got this, even I lose this, not that much big deal. It's psychological. It's not feel like I lose everything. Not feel that. As long as if your mind is this, just money, fully ignore, neglect toward really your ultimate life, peace and happiness. Ignore that, just looking at the money, then the problems. Instead of that money makes you happy, it makes you more scary life, more difficult life. Small, when the couples together, when they're separating, all those family dramas, everything. It's one of the biggest problem is that's don't understanding the reality, your purpose of your life. So in that point, really, if you're really understanding your purpose of your life, then how can really live meaningful? Means everything I am doing is because of that reason, because of happiness oneself and others, because of overcome suffering one and others. Because of that, I go to work. I share my life with him or her. When you think again and again, eventually your heart is fully committed on there. So then your hearts become very solid, stable. So as long as when your heart is really on living on that level, then external thing, when they lose here, there, not that much damage you, not that much bother you. So your mind always calm, always stable. Because of your mental, mind is calm and stable, where your thinking is always positive, stability. That's why your action, where you act, physical, speech, body action, everything going on that way. So your physical action and speech fully come from your mind, right? As long as when the mind is something turned into negative, your physical action always turn into negative, it creates more trouble toward others and oneself. So as long as when your mind is calm and stable, your actions always will remain there. Because of you are remaining very stable, calm, very focused on your purpose, other people, they see that qualities, which is very rare quality. These are not easy to get this kind of qualities. You can't buy. Money never ever give this kind of qualities. Sometimes money is going to lose this kind of quality. Even if we have that, money and powers, sometimes they will going to damage these kind of quality if you're really not carefully thinking. So these kind of things will be damaged. So before not that much money, you're very happy, harmony, families, everybody happy, peace. After you got lots of money, you promote your position, very good high position, good reputation, lots of money, you lost your family. You lost of this beautiful environment. It's finished, gone. In every moment, morning wake up to going to sleep, just thinking about money, challenge, how to stop that, how to do this. Always, with the fear, with the worry, with stressful, with angry, competition. Even eating fancy food never tastes like that. No joyful there, no enjoying, nothing there. It's like your life is become slave of your money. Your life has become a slave of power. Very unfortunate life. So that kind of life is called meaningless. It's not a meaningful. So meaningful, which means we have to go with that. The purpose is about this. So when you go that way, then to make meaningful, how can I should live with really meaningful? Who will going to destroy my identity? Who really destroy like a change? That innocent children, innocent baby, very pure heart I have, who changed that? Who changed that direction, right? Before just looking happiness, peace and harmony. Now that direction changed into very different, looking just money or power or something. Completely changed. Because of that direction change, my behavior, all my lifestyle, going toward that way. Because of that result, I have too much pain now. My heart is burning. My inside being is fully rotten, finished. But I physically try to, showing like great, nice talent or something. But the inside being is actually finished, full of pain. So that difficult lifestyle, when I'm inside my home, very sadness, very unpleasure, no really open-minded and freedom and nice harmony, sense of you, nothing this kind of environment. Very difficult, lonely feeling, all those difficult life. Who changed this toward that level? It's our negative thoughts, emotions, specific attachments. So attached, greedy, selfish, angers, those negative thoughts, emotions, it slowly comes and taking over my mind. So my nature of my mind, it's very innocent mind. Eventually it's become, the slave of these anger attachments. It's become under the power of anger and attachments, greed and so forth. That's why my life makes very difficult. So that attachment, anger, hatred, these are the main obstacle, to destroy to destroy your life. These are the obstacles who obstruct to make your life meaningful. It's completely changing. So what I have to do is I have to deal with these negative thoughts, emotions. So in order to live peace and happiness, what that mean? What's mean by happy? What's mean by really peace? I really want to be happy. I really want to live with a peaceful. But really, what that mean? Peace, happiness, which means luxury life, is that the real peace? Or which means good power or high reputation, is that the real peace and happiness? First, the one thing is, when you're living in this side, very simple life, then when you look these people living with a very luxury, you think this life is like a heaven. Very great life. But you really, when you go there, when you live like that kind of life, then you realize how much trouble they have, how much difficult life they have, how much painful life they have. They have to use so much external pills, how to make their mind happy, pills or drugs or alcohols, all those material. I don't know what kind of things they're using, but so many external material. They're looking to other people to bring this, buy this, to make happy, to live happy. Still, never ever real peace, never happy. So only when you live on these people life, then you can see. Usually it's used like an example. When you're in this mountain, then when you look that mountain, nice mountain with the beautiful, grass and flowers, and looks like this is like a heaven, pure land, right? Sometimes when you see that. But when you go there, then you see those lands have big holes and lots of insects and cow dung or whatever these things, like poos, and it's so many ugliness is there. But we don't see when you are there. But when you go there, then you can see there are so many other things, problems there. So some other things, because of being famous, because of being very rich, because of having a lot of power, you have other problems. You have other stressful, some kind of suffering, which is when you are simple life, you don't have that. Because of you are living in this kind of life, you have so many. So when you look, it's the suffering never ended. It's how much you grow, you're getting one material. Because of having this material, you have another suffering in your background there. Because of having this one, you have another problems there. So there are so many, doesn't mean it's. So then happiness, which means what? If the luxury life, if they're like high power, is that the real happiness? If that real happiness, then people who live like this kind of life should be full of peace, full of happiness. But today you can see, major of those people have scare, fear, worry, pain. They have to use drugs. They have to use all those pills. Using those pills, it's not just, if they are really peace, happiness, why they have to use these things, right? They're using these because there's something, problems they have, some kind of unbearable pains they have inside. So to get rid of those pain, that's why they're taking those pills and whatever, drink and everything. They use it because of there's something burning in their hearts. That's why. So when you look at this, is that the happiness? That means they have to be happy. No, they're not. So what's the real happiness? My mind, everything I'm doing because of happiness and peace, but what is that? To make my life meaningful life. Live with the meaningful, which means oneself live with full of peace and happiness. That first. Then much higher meaningful, which means not only oneself, also their families and other society and communities. Make them happy also. Peace. That's higher. So from the according in Buddhist practice, dharma, we have two. Right? When the Buddha taught, it's called Theravada and the Mahayanas. They're the two vehicles. So we call two tradition, Theravada and Mahayana tradition, is, if you put it into like simple way, is to live oneself meaningful life. It's like a Theravada tradition. How oneself live with peace and happiness, meaningful. Then Mahayana, which means not only me, to make societies, communities, all other sentient beings, how can I make them happy and peace? So in order to seeking this, first oneself, right, have to make happy and peace. Without seeking oneself peace and happiness, there is no way to make other really peace and happiness. So that's why seeking others meaningful life is the Mahayana traditions. Seeking oneself meaningful life, which is Theravada tradition, and another way to say that. So point is, first oneself make peace and happiness. In order to make other peace, first oneself. To make oneself peace and happiness, who destroying happiness? What's mean by real happiness first? So that point, now through the material things, we can understand, because of having these materials, still we have problems. Still the person who lives with too much, inner pains they have. So now really peace, happiness, where is it? And when you look deep down, this is clear, mental. So those material, when they're progressing more material, why they have stress? Why they have really inner pain? When they are full of power, when they have lots of money, when they have everything, luxury life, why they still have pain inside there? Sometimes it's very hard to know why they have this trouble, why they have stress, why they have fear, why they are worried too much. When you go there, the point is because their mind, it's polluted. It means under the power of attachments, angers, selfish, jealousy, all sorts of hatreds, self-centers, egos. There's so many negative those emotions. As long as when the mind is polluted with those mental afflictions, doesn't matter whatever things there, you will still experiencing fear, worry, depressions, stress, everything still same. Not having them, you have problem this. Because of having these things, you have same problems. It's not going to change that way. As long as if you don't deal with those emotions. It's very clear you should use yourself. I think it's good way to sometimes rather to talk this or that, rather use yourself. Before, I didn't find the job. I graduate, didn't find job, I'm stressed, I'm worried too much, I'm depressed because not having a job. So I'm looking here, there to try to find the job. Then, when you got the job, same, because of job, now I'm stressed, now I'm worried, now I'm depressed because of my job, right? Because of not having a job, you're stressed, you're depression, you fear, you worry. Because of having those jobs, you're stressed, you're depression, you fear. Your mental experience still same level, right? It's external things. Change it. You did it, but your pain didn't go on. But you going to see the job, you work there because of you have suffering here, stress, fear. In order to get rid of that suffering, you go there to try to find a job. You got it. When you got that job, did you fix your suffering? Not. Still there. Major our problem is same like that. All those family dramas, not having boyfriend, girlfriend, stress, depression, feel lonely, this, that, because of boyfriend, girlfriend, stress, depression, those dramas still there, right? Because of not having wife and husband in this life, you are feel lonely, you are stressed, you worry. Because of having husband, wife, same problems. Because of not having children, you're stressed. Because of having children, stress. So you will look at, it's completely inside, the pain is still there, but you're doing there because of you have that pain. Because you have that in something there's suffering, you don't want it. In order to get rid of that, that's why you go to the job. That's why you're looking these things. But you got it. Did you fix that problem? Didn't fix it. That's really, you should be awareness, smart. Go your past life and really reflect it, these things. Then really did I deal my problem? Still I have same problems. So then you see it's not only about those material. Then you realize those points, this inner pain, it's created by my attachments, my angers, my selfish, my all those negative those emotions. As long as mental afflictions there, how much I try to change it, is my pain still remain there, still there. So now happiness, which means, now real, what is the happiness? Which means freedom of anger, freedom of attachments, freedom of selfish, freedom of greedies. This kind of, if I remove my anger, if I able to free from my attachment, that's the real freedom. That's the real liberation. Then there's no drama. As long as if I don't have anger and hatreds, how much trouble going there? Not that much bother you, right? It's not that much creates inner pain. The anger here, then when you hear something harsh word, when you see something, bad things, it's really affect you inside. It really hurts you very badly. When your mind engage to the negative objects, horrible objects, then it's inside you feel it very hurts, very pain. And that pain, because we think because of that object, it's not. There are conditions, but not 100% there. There's something there, the anger and hatred's there. If I really get rid of my anger and hatreds, even I see somebody talk to me like you are crazy or something, whatever they say, if I don't have any anger, you should really think, it's not going to pain. Nothing any hurts there. It's like an air, right? That's the clear, that's the really, a truth. When I use, doesn't mean dog and cat don't have anger and hatred. They do have, but they don't have that intelligent wisdom. That's why when I talk to the dog, if I say, oh, crazy dog, it's not going to angry. It's not going to hurt him, right? He might be happy, maybe his tail maybe move here and there. When I'm saying crazy dog, he might be happy. But that word, if I use to the human beings, it will be hurts very badly, depending on how much anger they have. If they have too much anger, that will hurt very bad. If they have less anger, less hurts. That's very clear. So we should really, understand it. It's not only out there. It's really something come from my mind. So living with a meaningful life, which means happy life, peaceful life, which means I have to get rid of those negative, those emotions. These are the source of my suffering, the mental disease, who creating all those pain, who destroying all my dignity, my good identity. He destroyed my innocent mind. He completely polluted me. He's lead me into very difficult, strange, difficult life by those negative, those emotions. So living with meaningful life, happy, peaceful life, which means free from those negative, those emotions. So we have to really focus in order to get rid of those negative, those emotions. How should oneself remove that? So first thing is being a human. That's why always many people you thinking, I'm a loser because I didn't got money, I didn't get good job, I don't have proper beautiful house or beautiful wife or husband or this or that. That's why I'm loser, I'm a bad. That's completely wrong. These kind of thoughts created by your attachments, mistaken minds, leads you into difficult life. If you listen that the mistaken mind leads you into mistaken life, which mainly think happy, peaceful, good human beings. Good human beings, which means good human heart, good behave, which means oneself happy, peaceful, with very positive thinking, positive action, the life with very positive, honest life. Same time, he's spreading that energy toward other people, encouraging them live like that kind of lifestyle. That you call good human beings, meaningful life. So in order to live that life, we have to deal with our own emotion, negative thoughts, emotion. These minds, creating troubles, making mistake, polluting, it's spending all those, spreading all those poison things. So in order to get rid of those negative thoughts, emotions, being a human, we should proud, we should rejoice. Being a human, we have a human intelligent brain. That's our nature. We can able to think. We can able to deal with those emotions. We can able to know, learn everything. We have that potential, to learn everything, to able to deal with those emotions. Born in animal realms, very difficult. Their brain capacity, they don't have that to deal with their anger. How can you teach for instance, to dog and cat, meditate love and compassion, reduce your anger and hatred, learn impermanence, this or that? How? It's very hard, very difficult. Their brain don't have that function, right, to deal with this. You can teach certain things, how to bring your food, how to work, how to jump here, there, play this or that, this certain thing. But the deep dealing with that own emotion, negative thoughts, emotion, reduce this, learning these things is very difficult. Being a human, we have that capacity. We have that kind of potential. So you should be really proud. Sometimes when you feel like a very stressed, you should, being a human, I have that human intelligent brain. We can't buy this kind of intelligence. Human intelligence, we can't buy. You can't buy from money. That's nature. Being a human, we have the gift, human gift we have. And it will going to lose one day. One day it will going to lose. So that brain has a huge big capacity. If you use that worthwhile, that human intelligence has a potential to get rid of all the source of sufferings, which are negative thoughts, emotion. We can able to remove everything by this human intelligence we have today. But unfortunately, we're using that human intelligence just for surviving families, just for money, just for material. That's the really, really sad. Even birds taking care of their children. They're making their own house. They're making the protection. Birds, they're taking care of their children, feeding the food, they survive. Then we're using that brain, is like same like that. We have huge, big, intelligent brain we have that we use is about like worse than animals sometimes. Some human beings making more trouble, right, than animals. That we use much more worse than animal. That's really, feel like really embarrassed being a human, having this intelligent brain, using just worse than animals. It's the really embarrassed. So you should really, being a human, proud. It's important. We call confidence, not the negative proud. This positive proud is called confidence. It's built your inner strength, willpower. I have that potential, human intelligence I have. I can deal all my suffering, source of suffering. I can able to remove that. I can able to purify. I can able to eliminate all these things. You should use example if being a Buddhist, if you have full faith to the Buddha, then you should use Buddha as example. He was same like us, the troublemaker. Prince Siddhartha, lots of money, royal family, huge big power, like all those luxury he has first. Same time, he has too much stress, too much fear, too much worry because of taking care of all those royalties. It's not easy. Today, very rich, high power people have those problems. Same. So he used his intelligent brain, worthwhile, meaningful. He identified in order to live peace and happiness oneself, in order to make other happiness, the only way, first, you have to deal with your negative thoughts, emotions. All my trouble, all my suffering come from my negative thoughts, emotions. So he used that human intelligent brain, deal with his negative thoughts, emotion. He completely eliminate all the mental afflictions, free from negative thoughts, emotions, called ultimate peace. He achieved enlightenment, which means freedom of all the mental affliction, pure consciousness, liberation. He reached himself full of peace and happiness. He guide, he teach, he lead millions of beings benefiting this kind of message. Still today, he been like 2,500 years ago, finished. But his message still today remain in this planet and benefiting from millions of beings benefiting that. So his intelligent brain, today we have that same, completely what he has when he was Prince Siddhartha, today we have that. So we have opportunity, completely same. Only the thing is, we have to do it. That's the only thing. So we don't give this good opportunity toward your anger, hatred, attachments, jealousy, or greedy. If you give this opportunity into negative thoughts, emotion, they will lead you trouble, suffering, painful life, not only oneself, also others, your families, community, society, other people's. This makes more worse life. So that's why think that way to appreciate oneself, using, if you Buddhists using as a Buddha as example to inspiring us, not seeing him as a mystical, something like a creator or God or something, he can have something. That's impossible. It's not going to work that way. Rather, seeing him as he did that way first, and he achieved enlightenment to benefiting oneself and today millions of beings. So today I have completely same potential. And life is impermanence. So one day I will going to lose that. And day by day, we are getting older. That same time our brains losing, right? Our consciousness, very fresh, active consciousness, getting declining, minute by minute, second by second. Then one day finished. Then what's the point? We say precious human life. What precious? There's no precious. More stress, more depression. Maybe better to born and butterfly. Butterfly maybe don't have that much stress like human being we have, right? Maybe there's some problem here, there. I don't think they have really stress or depression and worry and fear and those family drama and I don't think they have that like that. It's very simple. Go, and as long as when they find their food, they enjoy it. Don't need to thinking too much and fear and worry, superstitious and all those. The life is full of pain. And they pretend like, oh, nice here. All those, it's like, it's not honest way, and it's really difficult life. So that's why to make really meaningful with life, which means really work with your emotions. So understanding that, then you should mindful. So all this understanding, then every 24 hours be mindful. So that's why seeking meaningful life through mindfulness. So mindful, always thinking the purpose of my life is peace, happiness. Meaningful life makes oneself peace, your family and community and others, makes them happy and peace. That's my purpose of life. That's why I go to the work. That's why I'm eating. That's why I'm taking shower. That's why all your actions, you mindful, everything I'm doing is because of that reason. That mindful. When you're always living with that mindful, every you behave, you're really concentrating, you're really mindful. If I behave that will not going to make me happy, that will not going to make them happy, so why I'm doing this? So you automatically self-control, or I shouldn't do these things. Mindfulness helps you. Always you keep that mindful, the purpose of my life is to make my life meaningful. Living with the meaningful, which means live oneself and others makes peace and happiness. That means go much deeper, which means to deal with your negative thoughts, emotions. Every action, every thinking, when you go there, you should be more sensitive in your negative thoughts, emotion instead of other people. Today we have opposite. We are very sensitive in others. Oh, this guy, that guy, this person, that. Every hour, like a camera is pointing something sensitive. Oh, bad, this, that. Oh, she wear this, she do this, he did this. It's very sensitive, these things. And the result, all those thoughts, negative thinkings, it's you labeling everything something bad. Result is oneself pain. That's the only result. So rather, if you're sensitive in your heart, say, oh, I'm attached, I have attached now, or I'm angry now, or I hate now, or I have a greedy, or I'm doing this out of my greedy, I'm talking to him out of my attachments, or I'm doing this out of my anger. That's not good. That's not good. So always the mindful on these things. Then every moment you living with very discipline. Discipline, self-discipline is much more important than disciplining somebody else from other people. That just looks like punishment, right? It's you're looking out something like, but being a monk, maybe say, oh, I'm not allowed to drink because I have vow. So because of vow, I'm not allowed. That means you're punishing yourself. I want to drink, but my vow, you're doing this because of vow. So it's a very different way. If you're thinking on that way, this is real self-punishment. So you feel like, oh, this is too much punishment, very difficult life. So if you're thinking, oh, I'm not doing that, because if I drink, it will disturb my consciousness, my brain. It will disturb that. So it will disturb my human intelligence. So then, how can I deal with my anger and hatreds? If my mind is going crazy, how can I do? In order to deal with those emotions, my mind needs to be very stable and disciplined. So if I drink and drunk and like that, how can discipline? How can treat my mind? So because of, if I don't discipline my mind, it will create my inner pain. Because too much attachment, too much anger, it will create me fear, worry, depression, all those inner pain. So because of I'm fear to living with this, I'm tired to living with those pain. Because of that reason, I'm not going to drink. So that self-discipline. Because of I'm not drinking, I'm very happy. I'm joy. I rejoice because of not doing this. So that kind of thinking is not looking as a punishment. It's called self-discipline. You feel very joy what you're doing. So that helps you. You go much farther that way. So always you can use that things toward your, your usual your life when you have family problems or your business problems. So first, looking your own emotion. Do I'm angry now? Or do I hate? Or I jealous? Or what kind of things? What I'm saying? What behave? So if I'm angry, then it will hurts me very badly. It will going to destroy my inner peace. As long as angry, there's no peace, no happy, right? Anger with happiness, impossible, right? How can you say I'm angry, I'm happy? That's not make sense. It's very hard. So as long as when I'm angry, I finish my happiness, gone. So I fear to losing my happiness. Everything 24 hours, I'm working very hardly, doing very hard job because of that happiness. So one moment of anger can destroy my 8-hour work. It will be destroy one moment of my anger. So I would be really, every moment I'm looking myself, how to control my mind. When I see something horrible things, when I hear something scary things, first I will check my emotion. How can I calm? How can I get rid of that? So always I'm mindful myself, discipline myself without, living without anger, without hatred, without greed and attachment and so forth. So always thinking that. Then when you talk with your families, when you're doing anything, you always living like that, then you have naturally some kind of your action, the words when they comes out, very polite, very nice words. Your family wants to hear this, wants to talk with you again and again. Even when you come back from your work, your husband or wife, whoever with you, they feel like they're waiting you to wants to talk. Like looks like they didn't see each other maybe year by year. That feeling always there. Otherwise, everyday fighting, harsh words very bad, and showing all those horrible things. Even your own family don't want to talk each other, don't want to eat each other. They're cooking in the kitchen. When they eat, one's eating in front of the TV, one's eating in their dining room there, not talk each other. Only go to look in the TV or computer, just only because they are not going to talk to me. So I can just relax. Then even you are with the family or not, doesn't matter. You feel lonely, your friend is your games, video games or whatever it is, right? That's the many human beings living like that, very difficult. So that it's always the mistake, right? We should really think about our own mind and always mindful like that. Then every behavior, every your action, every your thinking, first check oneself to try to deal first your own emotion. Try to calm and peace first oneself. Then living with other people, always there is a trouble, right? Two people live together, always they have to disagree. Different consciousness, different brain, different body, different behave. Of course they have different choice. Of course they have different they behaves. Of course. So there are many disagree. So that's why the things when they disagree, as long as when your mind is calm and peace, there's so much things you can do. You can communicate. You can deal these things. Sometimes even you don't want to go there, but you're going because of their happiness. So you not feel like angry and hate. So sometimes your wife wants to go to the movie theater. You don't want, you are tired. But your wife is screaming and these things, you have to go. Now you're going with full of anger and hatred, you're not talking each other, going there, sitting in the movie theater, looking this kind of movie, coming back, not talking, not joy. Because even you go with them, doesn't matter. When way of you behave, way of your thinking, they feel that. So, oh, he's not happy. Oh, this, she's thinking that. You are both spending money, didn't get it. Didn't got you what you wanted. Go to the restaurant, eat together, but didn't get really peace, happiness. They don't have that. So that's the really, only thing is problem here. So rather you think, okay, even I stay in the home, it's happiness. I'm going to the movie, same purpose, happiness, peace. That's the purpose. So rather, I can go and do it, try to promote real happiness. It's come from heart, not just because of external force. That force not makes you really happy. So rather inside, willingly. So when you think that way, even when you go to here, there, it's not that much bother you. You enjoy, and your family will be enjoy that thing. So there are so many things you can able to offer. It's called tolerance, patience. Much easier to apply your tolerance and patience if you're real understanding the purpose of your life. purpose of you living with him or her. Every our physical things, when you have selfish, then trouble. Selfish mind, very narrow-minded. So only thing is, I have to done that, I have to achieve this. But why you want that? You have no relative. That's the selfish. Only look small. Achieve that. As long as if I not achieve that, trouble, fight. So go there, go there, go there. When you got it, what's the point? What is that? It's actually happiness. So as long as if you really know that, it's doing this behalf of my family, behalf of this community, society, doing these things, still today, I have to do somebody things, it makes them happy. So I'm doing this behalf of my family. So if I go with there, make them happy, I can offer, live this, I can able to do these things. You're happy to do. You not feel like, something losing. It's psychological. So that's always, as long as if you know the purpose of your life, it's about that, then all your movement, everything you're doing is because of that reason. That mindfulness, always live with that. Then that will give you really meaningful life. So seeking meaningful through the mindfulness. So mindfulness to understanding the human identity. First, your identity, who am I? My purpose, what is the purpose of my life? Then all my action, everything I'm doing because of that purpose, to relate it toward your deep of your heart, your nature, your heart, and your purpose. Always make these two related. Then every your action, you're going toward that purpose. So if you go into that purpose, every action, no problem, because they all are same purpose. So if you lose this purpose, they have different purpose. Then every action completely separated. This is this is that, this is that, this is completely separated action. So that's why I have to do this, not that, no that. All cut, all dividing. So otherwise, when you know holistic way, this is the purpose, this is my. So then all my action I'm doing is same purpose. So because of that purpose, I can offer this. I can, tolerate that. I can give up that. I can do this way. It's very skeptical, very open-minded. So that gives you big heart. That means we call big heart. You can link with everything toward one. So you go this way, that way, not that much different. That makes oneself enjoy happy life and others. And happiness is not like a drink and drunk and party, right? I'm talking here, the happiness is the mental peace, freedom of negative thoughts, emotions, freedom of stress, depression, fear, worry, freedom of attachment, anger, and so forth. Full of love, full of compassion, full of joy, full of altruism, these kind of happiness, that happiness. And to do this happiness is not depend on money, is not depend on power, is not about the rich and poor or this or that, it's nothing. We all human beings has completely same potential. So there's nothing to jealous or I'm loser or nothing. It's as long as if your mind is full of stress, depression, anger, hatred, doesn't matter how much you reach high level, wherever, you are pain, you are suffering, you didn't reach your purpose, right? So always think that way. It gives you everything possible. It gives you hope. It gives you inner willpower. You can still live it very stable, full of power. As long as you're understanding, you're believing, the purpose of life is rich or star or this or that external material, then always you feel yourself loser, fear, worry. And that mistake is not reality. So use all those logic, then encourage oneself in every moment of your life to focus, to make oneself happy and others' happiness. And that's the meaningful life through mindfulness. Okay, that's today. Thank you.